Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for a cherry on top, and it is our monthly hop. This is the February YouTube hop, and you could see there that it is a color palette challenge, and those were the goodies that I pulled to work with that color palette. So the thing about a color palette challenge is that finding the things that are the color, right? So I am actually mixing manufacturers. That particular piece there is from, who is that from? Echo Park, and that's the Let Create collection. And I'm going to use that to frame the layout. I want to frame the layout because, especially with this darker color, because I need that darker contrast for this black and white photo there. When you look at the color palette, everything is actually pretty soft, except for that dark green. And so you need that dark green for the contrast in the page. The interesting thing for me in pulling the color palette was finding the color. I am not a pink gal, and I am not really a peachy gal, and I am not really a pastel-y gal. And these are really sort of more softer colors. So the bulk of what I did choose is actually from the Storyteller collection from Cocoa Vanilla Studio. And that is still, some of that is still available in the store. So if you are interested, be sure to hit that up. I have this die from Pink Fresh Studio. It's a long skinny rectangle that leaves some pretty cool texture around the frame. And so I'm going to use that to create a frame for the photo of my daughter sitting on these ducks at the Boston Public Gardens or the Boston Commons. We went on a college tour, and you can't go to Boston and not sit or at least visit the Make Way for the Duckling Ducks. So I'm going to edit a lot of this video out because a lot of this video ends up focusing on my head. I am still struggling with setup because I go back and forth between filming reels and filming horizontal, and also, my vision is changing, and so I need to be on top of my work, which then puts my big old head underneath the camera. So I will apologize in advance for probably the next, I don't know, month or so, maybe longer of videos until that all kind of plays out. So I've used double-sided tape here to put the frame down on the photo, and I want to leave those open spots open. So, and you'll know what I mean when you see the close-ups. There's these little diamond patterns, and then there's a little hole. It's like a sun ray for the sun on each of those corners there. So I want to cut away the photo from behind there, and I laid down the double-sided tape in such a way that it wasn't actually behind those holes, so it was easy to cut. That is going to be the central photo, the central focus of this layout. And then I have another black and white of the actual commons itself, and then a color photo of the ducks because they're kind of green. They're sort of more yellow in the yellow leaves, but they take on a bit of a green hint to them, so the color was not going to compete with the color of the color palette. So this frame here is from 49th and Market. So you can see I've pulled all over the place through my stash trying to get this color palette. And so I want 2 of these. I may even decide on just one because it's not quite the right green. It's more of a warm tone green, and I'm working with more of a cooler color palette here. So I did create one of my own, and I'm going to round out the corners, and then later on in the video when I'm actually using it, I will cut out the opening, but I don't actually want it to open. Not this particular one, not the gray one anyway. I just kind of want to fill those lines so that they provide a frame for some goodies. Now, I am going to tell you that the layout that you see me create during this video is not how it will end up being. And the reason for that being is that I am going to use that green frame, and it just irks the living daylights out of me, and so I have to pull that off and then find something else, which in that space that other gray frame is going to be perfect for, but then I need something else where that gray frame goes. So there is going to be some shuffling, and you'll see in the close-ups how it does look much better. So you can see I have a little palette to the top left there of all of the green and I'm going to Pinky Peach goodies that I have chosen. Most of it, again, is from the Storyteller collection, but I do have other little teeny bits and pieces. Like that green camera is just too bright a green. It's not that soft, more muted color, and so I will get rid of that. The heart that is the top that is actually cut out from vellum is from my stash. I don't even know. I want to say that's like an Eileen Hudson. Who knows? It's been sitting in my little collection of goodies. I call it my grab stash. My grab stash that sits on near my workspace. It's been sitting there forever. Half-used labels go in there, all kinds of goodies. So I'm pretty pleased with the format that I've set up here. And it's not until later that I realize how much that green really bothers me. So again, all of the elements remain on the page. They just kind of get shuffled around a little bit more. So I am calling this a color palette. In the discussion in the group, you know, because I really struggled with this. These are not my colors at all. Sarah Scrap said go ahead and use it as a mood board and maybe use more flowers and more nature. I thought this was a color challenge, but the other gals might be doing it more as a mood board. It's kind of crazy when you look at all of our end results side by side. They are so incredibly different, but we're also all very different. Sarah Scraps likes the more vintagey collections. I do not. I will use them, and sometimes I really love them, but they're generally not my thing. I am a bright color gal. So you can see I am layering up as I like to do. I'm using my double-sided foam and just putting, in a way this works with my Breaking Out of the Box series because it is very much a grid layout, but by having lots of texture in the page and by using non-uniform, so I don't have all circles or all squares or all rectangles, by using the different shapes, you're creating you're breaking up the box. You've got the box, but you are not making it so absolutely grid-like and graphic. So I did not have a hole punch that fit the actual size of those, so I kind of double punched and did that. I have, however, in the meantime, gotten a multi-tool, multi-hole, one of those We Are Memory Keeper tools. Very excited about that. But in the meantime, what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the frame so that I can tuck some things into the edges of that fold over frame. That's from 49th and Market. This is my make your own, but definitely need to get my hands on a couple more of those. And actually, this gray that I'm using would work really, really well with the new Tim Holtz ink that has been released. Lost Shadow is my guess. I don't have my hot little hands on it yet. It is on its way, and that is available at a cherry on top too. So, but that would work really well with sort of that soft gray that is the top color in the color palette there. You can see I have not used a lot of that, mostly because it is in the photos and complements that, and I like the way that the white brightens up the layout, and I didn't want to use gray as my background there. So what I am going to do is that gray frame is going to get moved to where the green frame is currently sitting. And then if you know me, you also know that I am all about the Tim Holtz deboss labels as well as the tags. And so I am going to use the green ink. It's a I don't have the name of it off of the top of my head. I'm going to apologize, but I will link you down below. I found two greens that worked really well with this, and so I'm going to do a circle, the big giant circle label, then deboss that color into the label, and I will use that in that bottom right hand corner where I move that gray out of, and that's pretty much the only difference in the layout there. So fun thing about color palette challenges is you get to sort of reach into your stash and choose all kinds of different things. things. So this is our monthly hop. Those of you who are familiar will know that we will provide the list of the members of us on the design team who are participating, and for each comment that you leave on each blog, you win an entry to win a $15 gift card to a cherry on top. So that's fun, easy to do, right? What do you think about color challenges? Are they easy for you? Are they tough for you? This one was really tough for me because these are not colors that are in my wheelhouse at all, but it was a fun challenge. And honestly, I love this layout. I love the finished product. And I love that I was challenged to do something outside of the norm for me. And so that was a welcome challenge as well, as much as I did cry in the beginning because I'm like, I don't have these colors in my collection, but I do. Again, it resulted in one of my absolute favorite layouts. So be sure to check out the description box down below for the other design team gals and check out how this color palette inspired them. I love that there's cards as well, or a card, as well as Jenny has a memory planner and has used this color palette in her memory planner, which is pretty cool. And if you do Heidi Swap Stop the Blur, you will know that these are colors that she loves and that are in the headers of her her books. So is a perfect challenge for a memory planner too. So thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon and enjoy the hop. Take care.